Today we have a special guest on our show. I am so excited to bring you Phoebe Patten. Phoebe's work helps people balance their minds and their hearts to create change in their life. She's also created Plant Speak Oracle cards, public personal development workshops, and now a podcast, Life Unveiled, which I am loving every week. Phoebe, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for inviting me, Ahna.
My pleasure. I followed your work over the years, and I was so thrilled when I saw that you were producing a podcast. Tell me, how did you hone your skills for podcasting?
Well, I have to admit, I started honing my skills through Toastmasters. It gave me an opportunity to be in front of an audience and be less nervous. Now, because of the podcast, and our podcast is all organic conversation, which means we don't have notes. We don't know necessarily how it's going to evolve. I have to really listen carefully so that I can come up with a great response. What did I do? I decided to do improv. It's
improv.
Yes, it's perfect because it develops your listening skills and your immediate response skills.
Excellent. I wouldn't have thought of that. I thought maybe it was taking a course, something like that. So what exactly is Life Unveiled?
As I mentioned a little earlier, it's an organic conversation between two people. Our purpose is to really allow others to listen in to a conversation that's all full of questions and curiosity. It's predominantly about personal development. Therefore, it touches a lot of people who are interested in hearing. I get really stimulated. A stimulated conversation is really fun for me because it gets my juices going. It gets me thinking about a lot of different things. And that's what we kind of see we're doing for other people. We're inviting them to listen in to our conversation all about our questions about our spiritual growth.
Well, I like that, but as you're talking, I'm thinking I've listened to probably every one of your podcasts so far. Right? Some of them I've listened to twice. But there seems to be a theme. There's a topic. And so when I think about an organic conversation, I feel like it could be wandering all over. So how do you decide, or do you start out with one topic in mind and then just let it flow? Or how do you choose what to talk about?
Great question. Yes, we always have a topic that we want to talk about. The one that's up right now is about dreams. And I don't mean dreams for what you want to do, but our actual night dreams. The one we've talked about we've talked about ancestors, we've talked about transitions in life, we've talked about collaboration, a lot of different topics. We always have one topic. We started off with an idea, then we just open up the doors and see where it will lead. It's a lot of fun.
Well, it's a lot of fun listening, I can tell you that. I know you're also an intuitive. How does intuition play into the role of the podcast, or doesn't it?
Well, I think intuition plays into everything that I do. Also, everyone is intuitive, and our podcast really allows people to touch in, to really know that it's okay to listen deeply to oneself, listen deeply to others around you. And it cultivates intuition, which I think we all, well, I should speak for myself. I personally have been a much happier person since I have been cultivating my intuition.
Well, thank you. That's interesting. And as you're talking, I am wondering, do you think that it helps listeners cultivate their intuition just from hearing you and your co-host have these conversations?
Definitely. It brings a normalcy to the fact that we're all intuitive. Historically, our society has been very left-brained and not very right-brained. We have shunned intuition to a great extent, but now we're changing, and the kids who are being born now are not shying away from their own intuition. And I think it's becoming just a better society because we're more balanced, and that's what we want to be. We want to be in alignment with who we are, with trusting that we have a second sense of why we are here and who we interact with.
I love that. I think we can all use that balance in our lives and knowing why we're here and what our purpose is. Now, many people in our audience may have given the podcast a thought of producing one of their own, even though there's 700,000 podcasts on the market now. But tell me, what motivated you to actually take that big step into the world of podcasting?
Well, my friend and colleague who I'm doing the podcast with, we have been having conversations every week online. We really loved the conversations we had. They just gave us so much fodder to think about, so much fertilizer to our lives, so to speak. We decided, why not bring it to everyone? It also is a great way to get to know, to build community. I mean, we want to build community. That's very important to us, and we kind of see the podcast as a way to build community. And we're just in the beginning. We are, I believe, going on episode 17. But I have to tell you, it is a lot of work to do a podcast. I have learned a lot of the technology involved.
All right, that's great to know. I wondered if it was a lot of work or if you just contracted out. I'm sure many of our audience members would like to listen to your podcast. Where can they find Life Unveiled?
They can find it at our joint website, which is lifeunveiled.today. We are also on about every platform that you can imagine.
Thank you. If you have more questions for Phoebe, or if you want to follow her work, go to phoebepatten.com. That's P-A-T-T-E-N. Remember, E-N, not an O. Thank you for joining us today. You've been a great, diligent audience. I look forward to seeing you on the next show. Thank you, Phoebe.
Thank you, Ahna.